How you doing, folks? Nelson George with a new Follow the Sound. Because of the winter and the cold, I'm going to try something a little different for a few videos and tell stories linked to, different venues and different moments in my career. This particular story I'm going to tell is about Marvin Gaye. It involves this book, the Nelson George Mixtape, which is available through what's the name of the publishing company? Pacific Books in Brooklyn. If you want a copy of the book, it's at pacific.pub. And the story I'm going to tell revolves around my interview with Marvin Gaye in 1983. This is the article. It was published originally in Musician magazine. And so at the time, I went to interview. I interviewed Marvin actually one time previous before I met him in person in 1981 when I first started at Musician magazine. At Record World magazine. I've had a lot of jobs. In 1981, I did an interview with him from London. And in retrospect, this is the beginning of the famous sort of European sojourn where he moved to first England and then to Belgium. And would eventually record Midnight Magic album that included Sexual Healing and was sort of his comeback from years in exile. So cut to, I interviewed him and did a short piece for Record World in 81. 83, he's got this album coming out. He's on tour in America for the first time in years. So I fly out to San Francisco. And actually, I go to San Mateo, California, which was actually Apple's out there. I make a note. I actually went past Apple's building out in Silicon Valley on the way to a sort of a hotel motel type spot in the valley because he's playing at the Circle Star Theater, which was a really a venue in the valley out there. Which is interesting about Circle Star that it was there was a whole thing. I guess it's like a 70s 80s thing, circling around theaters, where the stage revolved during the show. So he's playing the spot, the Circle Star Theater. I go in to meet him. What's interesting is that I go into, knock on the door. There's a woman answers the door. She's got a hot plate. She's warming some food up. She's got a very 80s kind of wig thing on. They knock on the door again. I'm ushered in. I get to meet Marvin. Marvin's sort of sitting on a bed, reclining on a bed, but with his back against the headboard. He's got on a stocking cap, a facial mask, a white robe, and slippers. On either side of the bed are two guys, bodyguard friends, and on the TV is a fight. So the whole interview I did with him for Musician magazine, it was the assignment, was done while Marvin was kind of talking to me and watching a boxing match, which was pretty interesting. Marvin's voice was quite remarkable. As you see, he's got this very smooth, very educated and eloquent sounding. His father was a minister, and I'm sure that somehow influenced his speaking voice. You didn't really hear that. Maybe in some of his more crooning numbers, you hear the voice, but his speaking voice was quite distinct, and kind of unexpected for me. So we do this interview. We talk about Motown. We talk about actually Bob Marley because there's a song on the album on Midnight Love that references Bob. A lot of stuff about politics or why he never really did another What's Going On album. Really interesting and complex conversation. So I go back, I'm staying with a woman named Terry Henty, who is at the time was a publicist at Fantasy Records and, was really one of the nice people. She let me, I didn't have really much hotel money, nor did I have, I don't drive, so I was having a hard time getting around. So she picked me up, she took me out to the interview, and she came back to her place. And so I was very excited. And I played I wanted to play the tape immediately. So we go into her kitchen and we put the tape into her tape player. Everyone had one then, right? Your cassette player. And the tape wound around the spiel, that little nugget. It just got caught up in there. I'm like, fuck. I came all the way out to California. I did a 90-minute interview with Marvin Gaye. And now the spool is stuck around this little spoke inside the tape thing. And my God, if it breaks, I'm fucked. So Terry assures me that, we could bring it to one of the engineers at Fantasy, we'll be able to save it. But I'm like, I can't wait. So I spent the rest of the night with a pencil, slowly kind of unspooling the tape, And then I'm not sure, this is something that I'm a little, what happened next? It's kind of, I don't know if I had her go to Fantasy and have someone engineer put on a different tape, because it was very delicate. But somehow I got the tape back to New York. I got it transcribed, and it survived. Two things to be said, actually, other comments about that. What happened was I went to see Marvin the night before, actually, we did the interview. It was amazing. He was in great voice. He sang Two Lovers, a song that was written by Smokey, which was recorded by, I think, Mary Wells. And the duality, it was an interesting cover for him to do that. And the song's about duality, the sense that you can be one in love with two people, but they're the same person because of the dualities in their personality. So I thought that was maybe him reflecting on his own consciousness. So cut to 3 to 4 months later, he's in New York. He plays Radio City. And it's a pretty terrible show. He's very distracted. His falsetto is really in bad shape. It's very thin. There was all these rumors about him, getting back on cocaine that was floating around, but definitely it wasn't a good show at all, especially considering I'd seen how good he was at just a few months before at the Circle Star in the Bay Area. And he would, be shot by his father not too long after. So, just very vivid experience in my young life, meeting a legend like Marvin Gaye, meeting him at that particular point in time where at one point he's come back to the States. He seems clear-eyed. He gives me a great interview. And then by the time the tour was over, he was kind of in chaos again. And so one of the more powerful experiences of my life as a young writer, I was probably 24, 25 when I interviewed Marvin. And so this book, the Nelson George Mixtape on Pacific Books out of Brooklyn, has this interview in it. So that is sort of me following one story of following the sound from inside. I have a list of stories that I will sort of tell over the next couple of months. I'm going to still obviously go back out and do Follow the Sound episodes on the street as the weather permits, but I think these are kind of useful to get on the record too. So Nelson George, Follow the Sound. Talk to you soon.